Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the Mortal Instruments, City of Yahweh Reddit. I'm your host, Meggie.
And I'm also your host, Laura. And Maggie, I gotta say, nailed it. That was so fluid. You knew exactly what you were trying to say. You didn't flub any of the details.
And listeners, let me explain to you what my thought process was on that, which was, we're in book 3 of The Mortal Instruments, and then I realized, are they going to think that it's episode 3? And then I thought, no, we've had 6 years of episodes. And so I just kind of stuttered on my words there. But yes, we are in book 3 of The Mortal Instruments. It is City of Glass, more appropriately named than the last book, I would say, which is City of what, Ash?
The last one was City of Ashes, which made no sense. I'm still mad about it. City of Glass, this is the book so far that has made the most sense, like title-wise, because they spend majority of the book in the City of Glass.
Yeah.
So, nailed it, Cassandra.
It is true. They do point out that a lot of the buildings in this little city, are made of glass. So
yeah, they're like, Idris is the City of Glass. That's what it's called. That'd be like titling like a book that's set in New York City, the city that never sleeps. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah, you're like, well, okay, they got it pretty spot on with that one. And
it's like, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. This book is picking up after the second book, which, to be honest, it was the boat got imploded, right? Yeah. And then Simon can walk in the day. That's awesome for him as a vampire.
Yeah.
Jace and Clary, they're still siblings. If you guys need to know that, they're still siblings that want to kiss.
I cannot believe we are now going into a third book. Then this book was long. This book was like 400 and something pages, like 450. And no, it was 550. This one was fucking long. And they're still really related. Long. This one was I hate to say it because I know there's a lot of people who love this series. This book was painfully long for me. I got to page 450 and I stopped and I decided to read a whole other book before I picked it back up again.
That's really funny. Well, I also think that section 3 of the book just was a lot of filler. Like, I think that the journey that Jace will go on later on in the episode, why was it like 3 different sections? It was crazy.
I can't wait. I like barely took notes during that because I was like, I guess he's still going there.
I also did not take notes during that. I think that it's going to be very interesting to do notes this time because I tried to consolidate them, and compared to yours, we're just gonna figure out how it goes.
These books are hard to notate because there is so much like that doesn't pay off. So, and like you try to figure out like, okay, I think this means something, and then nothing happens with it, and you're like, okay, well that was a waste.
Oh God, so true. Well, with that being said, we are very excited and honestly enthusiastic.
The vibes are good.
The vibes are amazing jumping into book 3. So, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. I would love to start this episode out by saying right out the gate, we get a Vampire Lestat reference, a very important show to me on AMC right now. Simon hasn't left his human band yet, so he's like, I'm kind of the Vampire Lestat, like Anne Rice's books. And things are a bit awkward between Clary and Simon because, as you might have forgotten, he broke up with her at the end of the last book. So...
And it wasn't because he was so repulsed by the fact that she clearly wants her brother. It really was because he wasn't her first choice. And that's one of the weirdest things I think I've ever read. But she is up and packing for Idris. She's going to go meet the Clave because she has her cute little rune power. So like things are turning up for Clary. She is not sad about Simon breaking up with her whatsoever.
Exactly. She's excited to go to Idris, but Jace, her brother who she wants to kiss, unless you forgot after the second book ended, doesn't want her to go because he doesn't want her to be in a place that Valentine is targeting. But the Clave really wants to meet Clary and Jace. They're like, oh my god, what is this special sibling duo? You guys have all these special powers.
No, you guys just kissed, or what else do you guys do? Luke is being supportive of Clary's newfound powers because her mom is still in that coma. She also knows when she gets to Idris, she has to go find this warlock named Ragnar Fell, which sounds like a name of a place, but it is a warlock, and he's gonna help get her mom out of the coma. So Luke's giving her like a Shadowhunter jacket, and he's like, "This is gonna come in handy because you're a Shadowhunter now." Which also, it is crazy to me that we are 3 books in. Clary's been a Shadowhunter since like chapter 1, and she has not trained to be a Shadowhunter at all.
I know, it's actually baffling. So she's still hasn't trained. I mean, and Jace is gonna go do her dirty work of getting her mom out of the coma in Idris.
Yikes.
Simon goes to the Institute where he sees Magnus is kind of making a temporary portal to Idris, and Simon pieces together, oh, they're actually thinking of leaving without Clary. Jace begging him, can you please lie? Listen, it's for her safety. That's what it is. No selfish reasons. So they reach an agreement. They're like, okay, that's, I guess Simon's going to cover for him. But it's very short lived because an army of Forsaken, they show up to fight them and they are going to do a good battle. Madeline, who is the woman at the last book who was going to wake up Jocelyn, Clary's mom, from the coma, she dies in this battle. And
And this is
Simon's
like
about
page
to die.
18, by the way. So like this girl that we were introduced to as this pivotal role at the end of last book is already dead.
Already dead, so she's, yeah, I mean, like, I thought she was gonna be really important. That's what they ended the cliffhanger of an entire book on, was
Of
meeting
a
her.
550-page book on. And also, what is crazy is Magnus somehow keeps the portal open during this entire fight. The Forsaken are not attacking him, but he's just like holding the portal, being like, "Get through it now, guys!" And I'm like, why aren't the Forsaken attacking him? Maybe they only attack Shadowhunters, and I missed that detail.
Exactly. Maybe it's because his hair looks too good, so they're
Too
like, God, we
hot.
can't mess up his hair day. Yeah,
Can't.
he's too hot.
But at the last minute, they all run through the portal, what's left of them at least. And Clary shows up to the Institute fashionably late. She's like, it's awfully quiet. And Magnus is like, oh God, you wouldn't believe the portal I just opened. It's closed and the Forsaken were here. And Clary's like, well, what? I want to go. And Magnus is like, I'm spent. I'm not making another portal. And Clary decides to make her own portal rune, which she can just like envision because she's like, that's so Raven, and can just be like, I see it. I see the rune I have to make. And Luke's like, do not do that. There's rules in Idris. And so now he has to follow her through her portal to make sure she doesn't get in any trouble.
Yeah, and it's pretty bad news for Luke because downworlders aren't supposed to show up unannounced. They're supposed to be greeted from someone on the other side. So he's kind of stumbling through the air with her, and already Idris, they're not going to be happy because what Jace does on his way out against the battle with the Forsaken, he just takes Simon with him, which I think would be kind of funny if Simon came back and was like, Clary, you would have loved Idris. It was amazing. I got taken there accidentally. But like, I
I do.
understand that's your home.
I like, there is a part of me that thinks this book would have been way more entertaining if Clary never went to Idris and just had to kind of be on the front lines back at the Institute, because I think that would have been more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what is it? What's happening in the real world? Are they still
Yeah,
attacking the demons?
exactly.
I would like to
She
know.
has to fight all the demons now herself. That's her training. So now there's 2 monsters in Idris, Luke and Simon. That's not gonna go good. And everyone's like, "Oh, thank God you're alive, Simon." But I guess now we have to go talk to the Clave of why we brought a vampire here. I think they'll understand. Spoiler alert: they're not. They're not gonna understand.
No, they're not going to, but they gotta figure it out. So the Lightwoods, who is like Jace, Alec, and Isabel, they are staying at a friend's house. They're called the Pen Hollows. They were also involved with Valentine's Circle. They have a daughter. Her name is Aline, and she has a cousin, Sebastian. Kind of appears like Aline and Jace might have a vibe because they are holding hands. But like Laura said, they need to figure out what to do with Simon. They're going to go to the Clave. Specifically, Alec. He's the only 18-year-old, so he's the adult. He's like, I'm going to go. You guys hold it down here because you guys can't go to the Clave meetings because you're not an adult. I am. And he heads there to just kind of suss it
To do,
out.
to
As
do
they,
business. He's a businessman now. So a
This is
thing
random.
about Clary's portal, because of course Cassandra Clare's, we're snapping back and forth in between these two plot lines. A thing about Clary's
Mhm.
portal is a portal has to work because you have to envision where you're going. But Clary's never been to Idris, but she's only seen pictures. So she basically lands on the outskirts of the city, landing in like the lake surrounding it, named Lake Lynn.
Mhm.
And Luke has to like pull her out because they're in the middle of the lake, and he's got his doggy swim vibe because he's a werewolf. And he's like, oh, by the way, the lake is cursed, so you're gonna start hallucinating real bad. So we're just gonna have to walk on down to the city now, I guess.
Yeah, and while they're like on the road to Alicant, she starts hallucinating her own grave. And she's like, that's when he's like, "Oh shit, things are really picking up because all
Yeah.
that lake water that's in you, we really gotta hurry. We gotta
They
wrap it
gotta
up. We gotta
hustle,
get
gotta
you to that city."
hustle. So they get
Yeah,
to the gates of the city so easily. Honestly, very fast, all things considered,
I
for it
know
being
it's
an
like
hours
miles
long walk.
away.
And so convenient. All of the guards are not there because they're busy right now. So awesome. And they get to this person named Amethyst. How are
Amethyst?
you saying it?
Mhm.
Amethyst. I'm realizing I've
I'm
never
gonna.
like pictured how to say it out loud till this moment.
I was gonna figure out
Modest.
as I said it in real time. Uh,
I'm gonna say a
Amethyst,
few different things throughout this episode. I apologize in advance.
amazing.
Um, so they get this person, and it's like Luke's like, old friend, let's go talk to her. Um, Meanwhile, back at the Clave, Alex like, they gotta see you, Simon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, listen, Simon, they really want to talk to you. Nothing suspicious. They're just curious about the fact that you can walk in the sun, but I swear to God, I know that the Clave has historically not liked downworlders. I really trust them.
He's like, I really trust them. They already got a portal with Magnus waiting for you back in New York City. I promise nothing is suspicious. Also, there's a new Inquisitor. You remember how weird and awful the Inquisitor was last book? I'm sure this one isn't corrupt in any way, shape, or form.
And I really like that Alec is the one that brings him to the Clave because Jace the entire time is the only sound person as Alec is about to be like, yeah, they just kind of want to talk to Simon before he goes back to New York. Jace question marks over all of his head. He's like, first of all, I'm sus about that. Why would they just send him to New York? Jace is also suspicious about Aline's cousin Sebastian because he's like, why does he speak Romanian so well? It seems like Jace is just constantly on guard. But no, 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 no. Alec is going to bring Simon to this clave. He is going to bring him to the consul Malaki, who
Malachi.
Malak Mal-
I like Malaki,
Malachi
though.
Malachi, who he is I'm sorry, he essentially oversees the Inquisitor Aldertree's position. Yeah, that's the new Inquisitor in town is Aldertree.
Yeah.
He is essentially like Madame Umbridge from Harry Potter to me.
Yeah. Um, Aldertree, he's like, I got a portal waiting for you, but I'm just gonna ask you some questions. And he's like, how'd you become a vampire? And Simon's like, here's how I became a vampire. And he's like, I think you're lying about that. And they put him in jail. So like, basically, no matter what Simon said, I think he was gonna wind up in a little cell. So that's bad for him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just throwing him in that jail to jog his memory. I do like Alec and Simon have a conversation on the way over here, which is Simon basically imploring him not to tell Jace how he feels because Simon's like, I did it with Clary and it didn't wind up well. And Alec is like, am I that obvious about being attracted to Jace? Which, yeah,
And it's like
I
everyone's
mean,
like,
you are.
yeah. We get the drop that Amatis is Amethyst. I'm really sorry, you guys. It's gonna bother me. Amethyst
It's
is Luke's
something.
sister. So, and they haven't seen each other since like he became a werewolf and was like denounced by Shadowhunters. But Amatis is like a good like apothecary type person. So Clary's able to wake up all better, and Luke is gone. And so Clary's now just in the care of his sister, I guess.
Exactly. Amantis is supposed to keep watch over her, make sure she doesn't leave for the next few days. She does explain that she was the first wife of Stefan Herondel, the Inquisitor's son, the previous Inquisitor from the last book, before he divorced Amantis because Valentine was like, I don't really like your first wife's vibe. And then Luke turned into a werewolf. And also, that was kind of the reason why that Valentine was like, you gotta get divorced. So Stephen married some younger chick, and Amantis, she's like doing this thing where she's like, "You're strictly on house arrest," and also kind of guilting Clary, where she's like, "Yeah, but I guess like if you leave, it's everyone always does with me." It's like, Amantis, you're fine. You're doing
Amanda's doesn't
great.
have any friends. It's clear. Because like after this like depressing story, which we already knew some of the finer details of from the last book, she's like, do you want your mom's old fighting gear that I have for some reason? And so she just tries that on, and then she's gonna sneak out.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
yeah. The Inquisitor, meanwhile, comes to talk to Simon more. And Simon's being honest, except for the fact that he drank Jace's blood, and that is the sole reason he can walk around in the daylight. So the Inquisitor is right to be like, you are lying to me. But the Inquisitor thinks he's lying about everything, which he's not.
Exactly, he's not. And instead of, helping him alter tree, the Inquisitor is going to give him like the last blood he's ever going to drink before he just throws him into the dungeon. And he's like, by the way, you're not going to get blood until you tell me what you know.
And
So
and this guy also sucks. All the Inquisitors suck apparently because he's like, also, by the way, my entire plan is I'm going to frame you and the Lightwoods as spies for Valentine, so that way I can unify the Clave because everybody's so split up right now. And it's like, how is that gonna work? Like they're gonna find out there's more spies at some point, my guy.
exactly. And wouldn't the Lightwoods have an alibi? But Simon, he's making the most of confinement. He's chatting up this guy Samuel down in the cells. He's keeking it up. He's homecoming queen of the cells of, Idris, I guess.
Yeah. We have no like statistic on how big of a city this is, but Clary finds the Penhallows house so fast. Like
So
she
fast.
no,
Yes.
hilarious. She asks one person where the house is, and they're like, it's right there." And so she's there. And Isabel sees her first and is like, what are you doing here? You need to go home." And Clary's like, "Why would I go home?" She barges in this stranger's house, ends up walking upstairs, being like, "Where's Jace?" And walks in on Aline and Jace hooking up.
Yeah, and you would think that this is bad enough, but Jace really drives it home that he does not want her here. He's like, "You mess everything up. You're a mundane. You're always going to be a mundane. You're never going to be a shadow hunter, nothing more. I don't have time to protect you from getting killed all the time." And she runs away because her feelings, they're hurt. But Simon, I would like to go back to Simon because meanwhile, he's keeking it up with Samuel. He
He's
is
got
on
a
his
buddy now.
he is down in these cells. He can't see what Samuel looks like, but he's having a great time with this guy. And Samuel, he's explaining that, for a while, Shadowhunters made money from murdering downworlders. So the Accords, when they drafted those laws, kind of put a wrench in that. But listen, Simon's like, I like this guy. That's my buddy.
He's like, at least I got one little friend down here. Alec, meanwhile, like after Jace has just like screamed at Clary, Alec's like, "Hey, like Jace, there's something you should know. Simon never made it back to New York. Magnus just like telegrammed me, so just like deal with that." And Jace is being so freaking weird while like he's bandaging Jace up. And Jace is like, "I know you like me. I know you like me. Why don't you just say you like me and kiss me already?" It's like he's
It's
all
so
over the place.
crazy. It's like Jace punches a wall, so Alec bandages his hand, and then he's like, "By the way, you're a coward for liking me. Do you actually want to kiss me?" And Alec hesitates, and he's like, "Exactly, because you love Magnus Bane."
And Jace goes, "And on top of this, I'm gonna go break Simon out of jail." Like this is like that's his like next thought immediately after this exchange.
I mean, yeah, he's really on one.
Yeah.
Sebastian. So Sebastian kind of he gets Clary as she is out the way of the Penhallows. He explains that the Penhallows were a part of the circle, and she admits on her way out that she is trying to find the warlock Ragnarfell, and luckily he's gonna know. Eventually he's gonna know. I know exactly where that guy is.
Exactly. So Clary sneaks back in. Amatis is not happy. She's like, I told you to stay put. You could have gotten us both in trouble. So not good for her.
No,
God, there's too much back and forth with these
it
scenes. I'm
actually
trying to
is.
like
I don't know. I
on the
don't know how
fly
to
like piece them
compile it.
together.
I know.
um,
I'm the same way.
I'm going to cut away. Jace goes to Simon's cell window very quickly. Apparently, the jail is accessible for Shadowhunters. And Simon's like, I don't think we should leave. Like, I should leave. I think it's way too dangerous. The Inquisitor guy, he's like on my little tail. So, like, let's not do that right now. So he's going to stay put while they think of a better plan.
He's gonna stay put. Sebastian, meanwhile, like I said, is gonna wake Clary up, be like, I know where Ragnar Fall is. And by the way, I have a horse. So they're gonna horsey go wee it all the way to a house in the middle of nowhere that is covered by a glamour. You can't even see this house. And she dismounts the horse by jumping into his arms. Okay, romantic.
We do
Romantical?
have to talk about the fact that the way Sebastian gets Clary to go on this little adventure is by waking her up with rocks at her window. And she is really disappointed that he is not Jace waking up with her with rocks at the window, which is just like,
Yeah, but she also does keep referring to Sebastian as like this dark-haired prince that she once drew growing up. So she's like, I mean, maybe he's my dark-haired prince.
So yeah, apparently horses are big here, so get used to it. Like Meggie said, this house is glamored, but the crazy thing is when they go to Ragnarfell's door, Magnus and answers it, and he immediately freeze frames Sebastian so he can't hear the exchange. Magnus basically tells Clary that he found Ragnarfell last night dead, and he left some info for Magnus that suspicious stuff was going down, and he basically needs the white book at Wayland Manor to continue his work. So Clary's like, well, I'll just get my brother Jace Wayland, if you've ever heard of him, to help me and get the book back to you, Magnus.
Exactly. And Magnus is like, okay, so in exchange for this, I want the entire book. And Clary is like, okay, but there's just one spell in there, and it's to wake up my mom from a coma. Do you remember my mom, Jocelyn? I haven't really mentioned her that much, but
Yeah, I've
she
been
is
busy, so I haven't really been thinking about her.
And Magnus is like, yeah. How about you just take that spell and I will wake her up, but I get the entire book. And she's like, I mean, I really don't have any
Fair
cards to
deal.
play here. So they
Um,
shake on this. Magnus is going to wake her up and he unfreezes Sebastian. And Sebastian's in like the middle of speaking. And Clary's like, listen, let's go. I don't want to reason with him. He's a dangerous warlock. He's so scary.
and Sebastian's like, don't worry, I have one amazing final pit stop on this
Oh
leg of
my
our
God.
date. And he like thinks this is going to be so good. It's going to get him so many kudos with her. He's like, here is your mom's burned down old house that Valentine burnt a baby and her parents in. Isn't this romantic?
And you're thinking psychotic, but Clary is not thinking about that. It is so romantic, I guess, that it propels her to want to kiss him. So they're kissing. But Clary feels really off about it and pulls away in a way that is like, oh, this feels wrong inherently in my soul. Which
Yeah.
I read it as a way of the author being like, you really should pay attention to this. But I always feel wrong, like kissing the wrong people. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. So Sebastian, this is where he starts to crack a little. He gets very angry that she's pulled away and
Mhm.
has to kind of put his face back on, and he like calms down immediately and is acting super normal again, sure. And then he decides to really wrap up the date being like, by the way, your bestie, Simon, he's actually in prison. Thought you should know that. So he's doing what he can, I guess.
And she shouldn't be afraid because Simon is not that lonely in jail. He's popular as fuck. A projection of Raphael is now choosing to visit
Which
him.
Which we still don't really understand how the projections work. Can like Raphael just come talk to him whenever he wants? Did like he have to call collect?
I mean, truly, I don't know because
It
it's
doesn't make any
between him
sense.
and Valentine, they are just like
They're
everywhere. They're
showing up.
popping up. I
Yeah.
feel like if I could project, I would just like project into your room. It doesn't matter if you're even in the bathroom. I'd be like, what are you doing? Eh?
That's what I'm worried about. Like, is somebody gonna walk in on me and I'm like on the toilet peeing and you're just like, hey Laura, what's up? And I'm like, hey Maggie, peeing.
I'm like asking you philosophical questions. Like, if you had to remember all of your memories, or you only make memories from this point on, what? And you're like, I'm taking a shit. I
Yeah, I'm
don't want to
I'm
answer this.
so busy right now.
So Raphael shows up and is basically like, listen, Simon, I have the hottest deal in the world for you. If you leave New York, I won't kill everyone you know for being a day walking abomination, and I won't kill you. you just have to leave. Just leave New York.
That
He's not gonna
pretty
do that.
good bargain that Simon gets out of prison and then has to disappear, or Simon stays in prison and dies. So really, really a fun deal that he has to figure out.
Exactly.
Clary gets back to Amadis's and Jace is there and being like, hey, ready to kind of do some talk to you and want to apologize. And Clary throws a plate at him instead, being like, how dare you not tell me my best friend Simon, who I made out with last book a bunch, is in prison. It ends up being
And Jace
fine.
is
They
like,
catch
"Are
up.
you serious? Like, you're acting like I don't care? I let your little pussy friend Simon drink my blood. Okay? So
He's
you
like,
can't
oh,
call me on that."
that's so toxic to be like, oh, remember he was almost gonna die and I saved him? Like, just every single time.
This is like unrelated, but I'm watching the new season of The Ultimatum, and it's like the guys being like, "You voted for me to be here. You issued the ultimatum. So if I fuck another woman, it's not my fault."
Maggie, we have to text separately about the ultimatum because this season is actually batshit insane.
I've watched episode 1. We'll text about it. Jebin is insane.
Oh, like I've
Okay, so
never like I think like it is a group of one of the like the worst people I've ever envisioned on everybody's awful.
it's okay. I haven't gotten to the women being that bad, but I'm excited to foray
Like the men
into
are
that.
by far and beyond worse. The women aren't great.
Oh, for sure. I'm thrilled. So
Uh
unlike the ultimatum and Eldris, well, kind of like the ultimatum, Jace is just doing gaslight girl keep, and and he's doing that stuff. He's just going there and being like, "Listen, Simon drank my blood." And she's like, "Don't even worry. I have a plan. We can get Magnus to break him out because I have the Book of the White. And so now he can kind of do whatever I want him to do. And we'll make sure that the
yeah.
Lightlets have an alibi so that you don't get blamed for breaking him out."
Yeah, so like their whole thing is they're gonna go find this book at the Wayland Manor, and they do make like a deal here that Jace will help her get this book, and Clary will leave Idris. Like that's the vibe. So
Hmm.
instead of doing horsey time, Clary's gonna make a portal for her and Jace that lands them outside of Wayland Manor. Easy. She does not have access to horse. She has access to portal. Um, and I kind of thought that Jace would be a lot more like emotional going back to this place, knowing what he knows now. But it kind of just felt like, here's my old house. Like that, like that's it was
I feel
weird. It
like
was a weird, like kind of like thing.
he blows past a lot of things. And even so, they go to the library, and he's like, "And here's the shelf of books that my father, Valentine, our father, I guess, did not let me touch." And Clary is like, "Let's liberate you. So what?" And like they start clearing this shelf of books that Valentine didn't let Jace touch. And this leads to a secret passage to the basement. So they're like, "Well, I guess we have no choice but to go downstairs." And they go downstairs, and in this basement is an angel that is tied up. And this angel, he is one of Valentine's like mini experiments down here. There is just, I pictured the longest basement with all these like desolate cages, and
Yeah.
all of like these patient like things
It's
like didn't work.
yeah, so like one thing that I'm so mad we did not get a backstory for is how the hell did Valentine capture an angel and keep him prisoner for this many years?
Oh my god, right?
Like
I don't
he's been there
know.
for decades. How do you catch an angel? How do you catch an angel and none of the other angels are like, that's weird. Where's Israel or whatever this guy Ithuriel? That's what his name is. Where's Ithuriel?
Yes.
I feel like we haven't seen him in 20 years.
Where's our angel Israel? He's attacking the West Bank. No,
Yeah. Oops.
um, oops. Honestly,
um.
maybe at that point they were like, "It's okay that he's gone." No, but also,
Yeah.
so the angel's down. They're like, "We actually didn't want to claim him as a friend. He's kind of fucked up. He's
Yeah, we're
going
like,
through
actually, it's
something.
probably for the best that Ithuriel's gone. But like
Like, we can't have Gal Gadot on."
he has mind powers. So like while he's like basically like skin and bones angel edition, he like can like mentally show them visions. So he does give them backstory of like Valentine's like experiments with him and like being like, oh, I need you to tell me where the mirror is, Ithuriel. Don't you understand? And at the end of this vision time, they just hand him a knife and he kills himself, which was like, wouldn't he want to be set free? Like, what?
I know, I couldn't figure out if it was like because they couldn't get past the runes that they were like, here's the seraph blade, you do it yourself. Or if you had to have known if this person's stuck in the basement, I think I would kill myself. I'd be like, yeah, I'm tired of this existence. But
Yeah.
no, he does that. And the mansion, Wayland Manor is attached to him. So once he kills himself, the mansion starts to crumble. Jace and Clary, they dart out of this house. They grab the spell book with them as they go, and they go through the window and they're like rolling down this hill hot rod style.
And now instead of Jace being like, I can't believe there was an angel living in my basement the entire time and we just watched him die, Jace, so selfless, goes, wow, it's really hard for me to grasp that I might be part demon. That's probably why I want to kiss my sister so much.
Yeah. So they start kissing because Clary's like, I don't care. And they're making out. And then she pauses for a minute and she's like, wait, are you only doing this because you think you're evil? And he's like, well, yeah, the demon blood makes me want to like kiss my sister so
Do
bad.
bad things.
She's like, okay, that's kind of not what I want to hear. Am I like a person
No.
at all to you?
Yeah.
And they have the most
And also,
awkward silence.
and Clary doesn't want to talk about the fact that they just watched an angel die either. Why are we not talking about the fact that we just watched an angel die? That's actually crazy.
I don't know, but this is the first makeout that they start taking off each other's clothes. So that put that on the record.
Nothing turns you on more like watching an angel who's been kept prisoner kill himself.
Yeah, but after she turns him down for being like, are you just hooking up with me as a means of self-harm? They start walking in silence and they are going to come up to the city square and it's just burning. It's a burning Alicant.
My favorite detail here is because they like lost Clary's steel, so they can't portal back. So now they really have to walk in like a very long, awkward silence back to the city center.
Really
It's
good.
part 2 now. The city is burning. Alec and Isabel are waiting for Jace to get back. Max, their younger brother, is like, I kind of think I saw someone climb the demon tower and try to take the words down. And they're like, shut up, little kid. You don't know anything.
You're only 10 years old. What do you know? But they do hear screaming from the city, and at this point, a demon like slashes through the window and grabs Aline and takes off with her, and Isabel just kind of also crashes through the window, is running after Aline, catches up to her, where a demon is attacking her, and she does fight the demon off, and she's like, congrats, Aline, I've saved you. But Aline just takes off running. She's got nowhere to go.
I guess I never really like acknowledged that, like, yeah, like Aline really just kind of dips and then we see her one more time this book and then she's gone. But they basically are realizing now the wards are definitely gone. There's hundreds of demons in the city. And Isabel's like, I'm going to go upstairs and grab my steel before I go fight more demons. But Sebastian is hiding up there and hits her with a hammer and she falls unconscious. So cliffhanger.
Yeah, and Alec doing that thing where he's like, I'm 18 years old isn't there because he's like, I'm the only one who can fight in the city because I'm an adult. I'm 18 years old. So Alec is out. He is perusing the town while Isabel is unconscious with Sebastian. And Alec sees Magnus Bane fighting someone. And at the last minute, he's like, Magnus Bane is about to be attacked by a demon. Alec jumps in front of him. He saves his life. And Magnus is like, okay, you saved me. I actually didn't think that you cared about me at all. And Alec is like, why didn't you call me back? And Magnus is like, because you're in love with your friend. And Alec has a really great stipulation here, I must add, that is like, listen, if we get out of this alive, I'll introduce you to my parents. Why not just do it? Why not just introduce them?
Ultimatums in this book running rampant right now. As Jace and Clary are still like approaching the city, a pack of werewolves just kind of breeze right by them. And they start running towards the city. These werewolves are going to help, which is not normal for werewolves. They're not allowed there. But Clary and Jace are going to run towards the city and they start fighting a demon. Maya's there. She kills the demon. And Luke's like, I brought my pack. Maybe we can reach peace finally amongst our species.
Exactly. This demon too is like a regenerating worm. I feel like Jace
Ugh.
like will like hack it off and it's just like kept regenerating in like places that they wanted to run away. Crazy stuff. So they go to the guard where everyone in the city is gathering to shut themselves in. The consul Malaki?
Malachi.
Malachi. Yeah. Malachi is
I like that you started with like Maliki again and was like, that can't be right.
Did you hear my voice get quieter too? I was
Yeah,
like,
you're like, oh man, there was a word for it, wasn't there?
so Molokai is there, and Molokai is like very anti downworlder, but Luke is
Yeah.
like, listen, you need us. We can help save you. And he doesn't seem to be vibing with that. Magnus Bane is also here, and he is going to request that Clary hand over the Book of the Spells, the Book of the White, or whatever, to him. And Sebastian shows up. He's not liking this. He's like, actually, Clary, let's go outside and talk. I think that if you and I went outside away from people where there are no witnesses and talked, everything would be awesome. And she's like, no,
And
that's
Clary's
so
like,
sus.
I'm good. And he's like, well, just so you know, your best friend that you've forgotten about this whole time, he's still in prison. So Clary and Jace are going to go get Simon out of his cell. And Simon's like, please, 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 can we take my new best friend Samuel with me? He's my only friend now. I love him and I would die for him. And we get a great reveal. This is, I think, one of the strongest reveal we've gotten in a Cassandra Clare novel thus far. It's been Hodge from book 1 the entire time.
It's
Crazy.
crazy, and we're on the precipice of getting so many answers. Jace is like, why didn't you tell me I was Valentine's son? Hodge was like, I wasn't sure that you were. Hodge is feeling so guilty that he came and basically turned himself in,
Mhm.
but honestly, it seems like he turned himself in because Valentine didn't want his help again, which is kind of depressing. Like
Well,
you turned
well,
against the Lightwoods for
and Hodge is
nothing.
saying things like, look, wanted to come here to get to the mirror before Valentine. The mirror is actually Lake Lynn. It's like a figurative mirror because that like pond is so reflective. And I
Mhm.
like, now that I'm in here, I realize I can't trust the Clave at all. So I got a little bit bamboozled. And we're like, wow, what a reveal. This has been crazy. This is so much information. Sebastian comes out of nowhere and kills Hodge in cold blood. So I'm rescinding my fact that this was a great twist, immediately eradicated by the fact that he died not even less than 10 pages later.
Yeah, we weren't gonna see that through at all. And I gotta say, I love Sebastian's excuse here because it's the kind of excuse that I have when, like, I wanted to do something anyways, but I needed to think of an excuse after I've done it that gaslights the entire people. I get it. Sebastian
Yeah.
is like, so sorry that I killed Hodge. I thought he was gonna kill you guys. And then he starts chewing out everyone. Turn it on the victim. He calls Clary a bitch. He says he's sick of Jace hanging around watching Jace want his sister. And then they're like, oh, you're being so mean because you're a spy for Valentine.
And he's like, no shit, I'm a spy for Valentine. How did it take you this long? Clary, I made out with you in front of your mom's former house that burned down. Like, that's
And you
not
didn't think that was
normal.
weird at all, Clary?
And she
Like,
was like, actually,
come
that was
on.
really romantic. Thank you for doing that for me. Um, so they have a big fight. Uh, the fight is too long. It basically just ends it like Jace just hurts Sebastian, and Sebastian
Yeah,
somehow gets away.
it's like everyone gets hurt. Clary gets a concussion. Jace gets tossed like she's nothing. He's nothing. Simon is kicked in the ribs. Simon bites him, and the blood tastes bad. That's like
Which
it's really important that like the feeling of Simon is bad. Kissing Sebastian, bad. Simon tasting blood, bad. And
it's
that's
also
really
crazy to me
important.
that like between the three of them, they couldn't take this one guy. Okay, sure.
I know. He's apparently moving so fast. But they go back to Angel Square because they're like, that was really embarrassing. We just got our asses whooped by one guy. And they want to tell people to, steer clear of Sebastian. But the Lightwoods, they are crying and the crowd parts and they are crying around Max's little body, which is so sad. Max died. Sebastian killed Max.
Yeah, poor Max. We don't even like know what he was like. Was he trying to get
No,
into the
we never
fight? Like, did it just a demon just get him? We don't know.
We never figure out how Sebastian killed him.
Yeah. No,
It
and
was
I
so
guess maybe
annoying.
she couldn't write a murder of a 9-year-old in a young adult novel. So I get that
Too
that might
much.
be a reason.
Too much
Um,
incest? Okay. Kid death?
in
No.
In a writing style that I wish Cassandra Clare used more, Clary wakes up 3 days later because we don't need to see every consecutive moment that happened after Max died. So she's at Amatis's. Aline comes over and she's like, I got news. Look at this. And it's a picture of her real cousin, Sebastian, who we're now realizing that she's never met before, or seen a picture of until this very moment.
I feel like Cassandra Clare is obsessed with that because it's the same thing of like, oh, so you don't remember what your dad looks like when you were like, what,
Yeah, it's like,
10
oh,
years
you've
old? And
never
he got.
talked to this person before until like this year. That's okay. So anyway,
Yeah, I don't
Sebastian's not
know.
really the real Sebastian. So we know he's an imposter. And she's also like, by the way, Clary, I don't want you to be worried about you walking in on me and Jace because I don't think I like boys actually. So we're good here. And then she walks away.
Which I think too, if someone came up to me and was like, by the way, I want to let you know that like your brother, you don't got to be jealous of us. I'd be like, what vibe are we getting off that like people need
Yeah.
to clarify with me?
It's weird. It
Yikes.
is weird.
It really is.
Um, Clary and Sebastian are both at the Hall of Accords. There's a meeting going on with the Clave, obviously, because they're like, well, there's gonna be more demons. How are we gonna do this? And not Clary and Sebastian, Clary and Simon go to the Hall of Accords. That was my wrong notes. And they tell Luke about the fact that Sebastian is an imposter. And Luke's like, well, Max's funeral is this morning. And Clary, of course, is mad that she wasn't invited.
Which
Which
is
I
so
was like,
crazy.
girl, this is not about you right now.
She's like, I gave him a manga book, and I'm basically kind of family because I'm kissing mine, and he's related to it. And it's like, no, it's not about you. So she is at the the hall, the guard, and Luke is essentially saying that the council won't fight with the downworlders. They're absolutely against it when a projection of Valentine shows up. And Valentine, I gotta say, he cannot read a room for the life of me. He's like, listen, you guys are gonna love this pitch. You can join me. You can pledge allegiance to me with a rune. I'm gonna send all the demons to kill you otherwise. Or I'm gonna raise Shadowhunters of my own. But the exciting part is if you join me, like we're gonna kill all the downworlders. And it seems like everyone is like, that's a really outdated way of thinking. And
Yeah.
Valentine thought this was gonna be like a surefire. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
what another fun ultimatum was like, I kill all of you or you work with me and we kill everyone else. So like what do we want to do? And to kind of prove how serious he is, his projection is able to kill Aldertree the Inquisitor. So that's crazy.
It's
Mechanics of
so
which are
crazy. It's
never
the
explained.
projection that like he puts his hand in Aldertree's chest and he rips out his heart.
Insane,
Crazy.
crazy. So Jason's gonna walk Clary home. I guess that's it. Oh no, he's gonna come to her room after this. Oh no. Oh no. And they're gonna talk about how much they like each other a lot, but they can. But but he really just wants to spend one night with her so he can know what it feels like and never want it again.
And I mean, it's not worse than like them having sex, but it is described like they fall asleep on their backs holding hands, and it feels like a fairy tale because Jace is like smiling in his sleep. Meanwhile, I have to say, Simon is back at the Penhallows. He is going to talk to Isabel, who is grief stricken. Isabel like tosses him on the bed and is like, I don't want to think about my grief. I just want to forget. Simon's fucking. Okay? So
Simon's fucking.
Simon's
That's
fucking.
awesome for
Clary's just
him.
holding hands with his brother. You never thought that Clary was going to be the one that wasn't the first one to like do
No.
some things, but no, no,
No.
no, that's Simon.
Um their council is still having their meetings, like they're adults, they're doing meeting stuff. Jace sneaks out early from Clary's and he's like, hey Luke, just want to know how the meeting's going. And Luke's kind of telling him like not going great, and Jace is like, cool, I'm gonna go find Sebastian and Valentine, and I think I want to kill Valentine, so I'm gonna go do that. um
Exactly. It's like a hey, and Luke, by the way, don't tell Clary. Just keep it in mind when you're battling. We got plan B going
and
on.
like
I'm gonna kill Valentine.
what's crazy here is like Jace literally just lost a fight to Sebastian when he had two extra people. Why would he think he can go by himself to do
I
this
don't
with
know.
like delusion? Um, so that's
I
that.
know. And
Ugh,
Clary is like trying to piece together the fact that Jace is on a suicide mission. Isabel shows up to Clary's place. Clary's like, "Hey, do you want to read this letter that Jace left behind for me? He left me his ring as a memory of him, which feels kind of crazy." And Isabel's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be so honest. The vibes he's been giving are so over the place. I think that he probably is going to Valentine to kill him himself." Which is like,
and
Isabel, come on.
And as they're processing this, they get a knock on the door and they're like, that's crazy. We weren't expecting company. And Clary opens the door and it's her mom, Jocelyn. And she's like, hey. And
Yeah, and you'd expect her to be excited that she's seeing her mom for the first time, but she's like, "Why didn't you tell me that the person that I want to have sex with is my brother? Why didn't you ever tell
yeah,
me that I had a
she
brother?"
and
But
she also
yeah,
does not ask Jocelyn how she got woken up because Magnus, as we know, has been an Idris this entire time. So we have really no knowledge of like how Jocelyn woke up, got to Idris. Because how did she get here? Magnus isn't Idris. He was the one who had to make the portal. There is no other portal accessible inside of New York City right now.
I
How?
know because like you have to have someone on the other side who lets you
Yeah,
in. So is it
exactly.
like
So who?
warlocks can just bypass that?
I don't know. I don't know. So like it does this makes no sense. Clary, no hug, no like, wow, I can't believe it, you're my mom. She just bolts. She's like, how dare you not tell me I have a brother and he's alive and I've kissed him.
Which is so
I'm
crazy
here.
because this entire book series is born out of her wanting to resurrect her mom.
And like then her
And
mom's
this
resurrected.
woman
It's like,
is
is she
not
mad
gonna
because
pay?
she didn't get to do it herself? Like, what? This is crazy to me. And Clary runs away. Like, she's not gonna deal with it. She says, fuck you, bitch, basically, and leaves.
Exactly, exactly. She does in running away though. She has a vision. She remembers that Ethereal, the angel that was in the Wayland Manor, showed her a vision about like sides coming together and a rune to draw on the people that they could fight together. So she's like, "Oh my god, I have such a good idea. I'm so creatively inspired right now. It's crazy." She goes to the Clave. She's going to explain to the people that she has the capability to make new runes. She just blows up her spot so fast. She doesn't think about the
Yeah.
fact that she could easily be a weapon of the state. Like, why wouldn't they manipulate her to just do shit?
Yeah.
And she shows this by putting one on herself where she like appears to people as the person that they love the most. And she's like, I can draw a rune that allows you to share your abilities with the downworlder that you're going to battle with. And it seems like, people are kind of like for this. Malachi, he's
Malachi.
hesitant. Malachi, he's like, listen, Valentine isn't going to kill us. We're going to turn ourselves over. It's going to be awesome. And she's trying to explain if you side with him, like, it's not going to matter. He's going to kill you. He's going to create new shadow hunters. It does not matter.
Yeah.
So they have to wait for the verdict of like, are they going to fight with the downworlders or are they going to turn themselves in?
Yep. And while this is happening, Clary and Simon have to wait outside because they're kids. And Jocelyn strolls up and she's like, hey, kiddo, we should have a talk. So she's like, but first, I should show you my binding rune. And then we get a lot of backstory that we're already familiar with, but with just some extra details.
I did
Basically,
write it all down. Yeah.
yeah, it's
She was pregnant with her first kid who felt like a monster. She hated Valentine for pushing Luke to suicide. How often are we going to hear that? But anyways, she went down, she saw all of Valentine's experiments in the basement. She said there was a page for her as an experiment and Stephen Herondale and his wife as experiments who Valentine was giving potions to. And she created a potion to put herself in a coma in case like things got so bad. She
yeah.
explained that like once she was holding her baby, it didn't feel like her baby because her baby had demon blood injected in it because
Yeah,
Valentine
so,
like
like, basically the
gave it
potions
to her.
that, Valentine was giving, her while she was pregnant had demon blood in it, and she was not aware of this, so she kind of had to
No.
deal with the grief of that, like, her baby wasn't actually human, and then we get a reveal, like, after the fact that, like, she was, like, leaving and gonna leave Valentine, that he was also giving the Herondale's blood, and she's freaking out that they're gonna have a demon baby, but we finally get the reveal that Jace is the real Herondale baby, and Jace and Clary have angel blood. Sebastian was her real firstborn child named Jonathan, which we know, and he was the one who has demon blood. So Sebastian was able to use his demon blood to take down the wards in Idris.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the most important part. Luke comes out and he's like, "The Clave has agreed to the runes, Clary." So big ending for this final. Finally, they're not related. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. People with the marking of the runes, they're gonna need to pick their downworlder partner to be marked with. Magnus is teasing Luke about him and Jocelyn being marked together because they're basically married. Like they act like that all the time.
Ah.
Alec finally decides to claim Magnus in front of his family. They mark each other. They make out. It's actually kind of funny because they're making out, and Maya, the werewolf, is like, "Do I have to do that with my partner? I don't really want to do that." And
Yeah.
Clary is like
Raphael.
so
Oh,
adamant. She is so excited to clarify to everyone, "Hey guys, Jace and I aren't siblings. By the way, it wasn't weird the entire time. Not strange."
yeah. Yeah. Raphael, his
Yeah.
projection's going to show up again. And he's basically telling the adults, like, in the room, like, "Oh, you want the vampires' help? Ultimatum, another ultimatum for you guys. The vampires will help if you give me Simon so I can murder him, and then everything will be fine." Um, so that's going to be a thing. And now we have to momentarily check in with Jace, who has finally found Sebastian and Valentine. He's been on horseback in cutaway scenes for the past about 60 pages, and nothing has happened other than that he's riding a horse. We do not know
I'm
how
so
he knows
happy.
where.
I'm so happy neither
Sorry,
of
go ahead.
us included the journey. Neither of us
Yeah,
made a
yeah.
note
Like
of.
I literally like have like Jace still riding horse, Jace still riding horse, and I'm like, it's not worth talking about till he gets there. Because the thing I have to
No.
ask is, how did he know where they were? What?
Oh, because when Sebastian is trying to bring Clary outside to talk to her by herself, there's like blood on his face where Isabel had scratched him trying to fight him, and she like touches his face and gets the blood on her shirt, and Jace looks at it for a really long time and uses, I guess, visually just looking at Sebastian's blood, like not even the shirt.
Was there a
He's just,
blood trail that he followed?
yeah. He uses just like staring at the blood to track him down because
And
Magnus
he had to use
can't
a
like.
horse to get there, and there's that much blood? Okay, yeah.
I know. I could not imagine. It's like, can you just get that from a drop of blood? You stare at it and you're like, I know where they are. Perfect. But
Yeah,
that's
I'm sure. I'm
there.
sure Jace can. He's perfect. He's an angel blooded guy. He can.
So he gets there, he spots Hodge's raven is in the sky, and when he knows to follow the raven who brings him to Valentine, he overhears Sebastian and Valentine talking about how Sebastian failed to bring the Book of the White to him, as well as Clary. Valentine indicates there was more than one boy that he had raised, and also says that now that he has all three items, he can raise Raziel from the lake. And they part with like, "Sebastian, don't let the demons enter the city just yet." And Sebastian's like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm not gonna do it." Valentine leaves. He's like, "I'm gonna go talk to the angel." Sebastian's like, "Jace, I know you've been listening the whole time." So he knows he's there.
Yep, and so they're gonna come out and they're gonna have a chat. But meanwhile, back at the console, Simon is like, "Hey, Clary, I feel like everyone's clearly trying to protect me from my certain death with Raphael. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
turn myself in. You guys clearly need the help." And Clary's like, "I have another rune I can do right now." So she gives him a mark. We won't know what it is just yet, but we'll get there.
It's a
And
dick on his
Maya, for some
forehead.
reason, yeah, he puts it on his forehead, which is crazy. Maya takes Simon to the vampire camp, And Raphael and his team are like, we're so gonna kill you. And Simon's like, oh yeah, and shows them what's on his forehead. And he has the mark of Cain, so they can't kill him. Otherwise, they will die like 7 times worse, essentially.
It's tenfold. It's whatever
Tenfold.
harm that you cause comes back tenfold. I don't know if that this is a thing but it definitely is in witchcraft.
Yeah.
I don't know if it like it's not the mark of the cane, but it's very known in magic world that it's like
Yeah.
whatever you put out is going to come out tenfold.
So Raphael's like, oh, well, I guess we have to deal with you now because I'm not going to try to tempt this mark. And I guess we'll just fight the demons now. End of plot.
Yep, they're like, listen, Simon, you're going to be fighting with us. Sebastian, he is, giving Jace some tough love because Jace is learning that both him and Sebastian, they were raised by Valentine. And Sebastian's like, and while you're here, let me fill you in on what Valentine's going to do. He's going to strip all the Shadowhunters of their status. If they're humans with Shadowhunter marks, they're just going to become the Forsaken. And Jace reverse Unos him by being like, oh, so you're just going to kill me? You're going to kill me while I have nothing to fight myself with? Wow, our dad's going to be really upset about that. You have me all chained up and I can't fight for myself. So Sebastian's going to be like, all right, fine. Let's fight. Let's fight hand to hand then.
So they're going to fight, and they have a long fight. They have a way too long fight for not this being like the final big boss moment. It's like probably like 40 or 50. It's long. And Sebastian, while they're fighting, is doing his evil guy monologue, which we know Cassandra Clare loves. He's like, you're not Valentine's real son. He just raised you. And somehow during this, Isabel shows up and uses her whip to cut off Sebastian's hand. And Sebastian casually just like runs off with no hand. He's not like freaking out because he like lost a hand, which I would imagine you would probably be pretty, pretty incapacitated if you lost an appendage like that. But exactly. I guess he's chill. And instead of Isabel and like Jace leaving immediately, Isabel's like, Jace, I have to tell you everything that's gone on for the past 40 pages while you were riding your horse on the way to be here. So this gives Sebastian enough time to come back handless and continue fighting Isabel, and Jace also gets back in the fight. It's crazy.
It is true. At some point, how this ends is Sebastian gets control of Isabel's whip. He's like hitting her so much, and I guess he's just so enamored with that he doesn't hear Jace sneak up on him, and like
he stuck the whip, I'm sure, into his severed hand hole and was just using that to whip her.
He's like, woohoo! But Jace plunges his blade in him while he is, just whipping the fuck out of Isabel. Sebastian dead. He falls dead in the water. And it seems like he's taken care of. Simon, though, Simon on the flip side, he's not doing very well in battle. A stranger, I love this scene because I think it's kind of funny. A stranger comes to help him out of like this dirt pool he's found himself in and is giving him this pep talk like, you just gotta keep going on. I believe in you. You're gonna do so well in this battle. And this like demon falcon comes and picks the stranger up and flies away with him. So Simon's hilarious. Like, I don't have any defenses, so he just starts like using his teeth to bite into people.
Clary is somehow positioned in the right place at the right time while absolute chaos is going on. She overhears Malachi talking to another projection of Valentine's like, I'm at Lake Lynn now. Did you hear that? Lake Lynn on the outside of the city. I'm about to execute my master evil plan. And so she's like, I gotta make a portal and get there ASAP.
It's so funny too because so Malachi is like finds her and is like, you've been listening the whole time, but he kicks Hugin, who is Hodge's bird, and like the bird like jumps up, is like, argh! And he attacks Malachi to the point that Malachi trips and hits his head and dies. And it's like, I guess that takes care of itself. So
internal bleeding gets the best of us, doesn't it, Malachi?
It really does. Clary portals to there, but she portals into the water, which is pretty.
Yeah, she's not good at like portaling there yet. Because in true Valentine fashion, Clary wakes up and Valentine is there. She's on the shoreline of Lake Lynn. She doesn't hallucinate this time, so I guess like she's still she got powers or something now, like, because she's fine the rest of the book. But
Yeah.
he has her tied up, and he's like, and he gave her a silence rune, so she cannot talk right now.
No.
And he is
And
going to use her blood to summon Raziel. My guy Razzie, that's what I was
my right.
referring to him as.
Razzle
Our guy
dazzle.
Razzie, the angel. And he's going to get Razzie here, and Razzie's going to give him a wish.
Exactly, because he does explain to Clary, he's like, actually, I hate you because your face represents the love of my life leaving. So I don't mind if I spill a little bit of your blood. Jace shows up, he's like, not my sister's blood. And they
Which, again,
scuffle.
how did Jace get there so fast? Like, did he take his horse, or?
He's also beat the fuck up. He's got his
Yeah,
eyes swollen.
Risha got stabbed at one point, yeah.
He's
Sorry,
not
go
doing
ahead.
good. He gets Valentine on his knees with a sword, and he's like, any last words? And Valentine's like, I'm so sorry. Open to interpretation. And Valentine on his knees calls the mortal sword his way. It like materializes in his hand, and it plunges into Jace's heart, and he falls dead. Clary, meanwhile, she's like, I can't take a moment to mourn. That sucks. That's horrible. But I know that if I gave up, Jace would be so upset with me. So she's like writing her name over Valentine's name in the sand. And Valentine's like not noticing this, which I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
she's like
okay.
correcting his runes while he's doing his ritual now with Jace's blood because he has it instead of Clary's. He's like, you lucky girl, I'm not going to kill you today.
Yeah.
And our guy Raziel, Mr. Razzie, we love our Mr. Raz. He shows up. He's like, what the hell is up, my guy? He talks fancy. And he's like, Valentine, you're a bad person, and I am not going to help you today. And Valentine's, what, why? And he's like, look at your rune. And he sees that Clary has written her name over it. And he's like, no. And so then Razzie kills Valentine.
And
That
it almost
easily.
seems like it was that easily, but I will
That
say it
easily.
seems like Raziel does it out of spite because Valentine's like, I mean, if you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to force you. And it's like, bro, know your place. You're talking to an angel. What do you mean you're going to force them to do a favor for you?
No. So Raziel's like, they're there now, Clary. The battle ends with Valentine's death because, of course, that's a mechanic in this book and we don't have to follow through on what we've started. You can have one wish while I'm here and then I'm leaving. And so
she admits too in this moment that she's like, I guess I could cure cancer and world hunger. I want to resurrect Jace so I can kiss him a little bit more.
Yeah, a guy she's known for like 2 months now. That's crazy.
I know.
And now let's do the 34-page monologue, not monologue, epilogue. For this
I know.
book. Basically, they go to Valentine's funeral for some reason, which is a crazy start to this. I was baffled, actually.
Yes, it
seems
seems
like
Luke,
not only that they held a funeral for him, that they went.
It seems like Luke went, Clary didn't. Jace seemed to be like hovering kind of outside, and Jace is doing this whole thing in this epilogue where he's like still like, am I a bad person and blah blah blah, and Luke's like, no, Valentine cared about you because he sent you to the Lightwoods for your best chance at being a normal person. Also, really important to note, they have not found Sebastian's body. He murdered, fell in the water. They can't find his body. So
nope. So to be continued on that. But after Valentine's funeral, which people are grieving, I guess, I don't know, they're gonna throw a big party to celebrate all the demons being gone. All the wards are back up. So Clary and Isabella are gonna get ready, and Amatis is gonna give Jace some of Steven's stuff, being like, I guess you might want to know what your dad was actually like. And Luke says he's going to stay in Idris. They're like, they need a wolf guy like me on the council to help with everything. And Jocelyn's like, well, that's a bummer because I'm so in love with him, but I won't tell him that. And then Clary and Amatis have to be like, go get your guy, Jocelyn.
Go get him, go. Clary and Simon agree that one of them is going to go back to high school to finish it out. Simon wants to go back to high school so bad. Clary's not going to, but Simon has bigger concerns, which is Maya and Isabel both are really into him. They both want to date him. Jace, like I said, he's feeling sorry for himself. But Clary reminds him that, like, Jace, you don't have to worry because you've always had a family. You're a Lightwood. You'll always be a Lightwood. And they start to piece together that they're like, oh, I think that Valentine kind of weaponized the fact that we wanted to bone each other and said that we were siblings. And I kind of think now that that's out of the way, should we actually bone each other? That's kind of where it ends.
Yeah, they kiss. Clary does go back into the party to talk to the fairy queen who made them kiss, obviously, last book when they thought they were siblings. And the fairy queen's
Yeah.
like, I'll strike you a deal. You can help me, and then I'll help you. And Clary's like, I'm good. You're dramatic.
Yes.
And then Jocelyn gets Luke to agree to come back to New York City, and then fireworks go off, and then the book's over. That's it.
Exactly.
That's
I'd
it.
love to see a happy ending between siblings when it turns out that it was fine the whole time.
I love a happy ending when you can find out that you actually can kiss the guy you thought was your brother.
Yeah. And it's so common. Happens all the time nowadays.
This was groundbreaking, a groundbreaking plot line.
It really was. So for our top 5, Laura and I were like really upset about this because the entire premise, all of Mortal Instruments starts because Clary's mom, Jocelyn, is kidnapped and in a coma. And that has been downplayed in the past 3 books so much. So we are going to say, hey, pretty easy one. Top 5 ways to greet your mother after she's been in a coma. I think there's a
Magically
lot than
induced
just
coma.
like being angry,
Yeah, like this was, again, it just felt so out of character and completely derailed from the actual plot of this book series. So I was definitely shocked. I'm happy to dive into this top 5.
I agree. Coming in at number 5, we'll start it off pretty easy if you're mad at your mom. How about a light handshake? Just give her a
That's
little
cordial. Just being like, oh, a pleasantry, especially because you weren't expecting her. So
exactly, even maybe a high five.
Number 4, I feel like Clary, she's an artist. Maybe she was keeping a journal. Maybe she has a tight 5 to deliver now that her mom's back. She's like, wow, I missed you so much. I have so much to fill you in on. Let me do a quick tight 5 around everything. You're going to love these jokes.
Yeah, because your mom loves your stand-up routine. Get it cooking.
Yeah.
Number 3, hey, what about this? A casual I missed you. I actually think that that's super effective in moments like this.
Yeah. Huge start, even if you're mad at her about something, to say, I missed you.
For sure.
Number 2, maybe like detach themselves from the situation. A lot's going on at Amadis's house. Maybe go on a little nice walk and like do a little catch up first before you do anything else,
Yeah. Let her know how you came to the jokes in your type 5 about your mom being in a coma. Exactly. And number 1, just give her a hug and a kiss. She's earned it. She's been in a coma.
She was in a coma for so long. Her medical bill is probably crazy because she was in a human hospital for so long. We don't actually know what Jocelyn's job does. I don't think she has insurance.
Fuck, I was gonna say, I hope she has Blue Cross Blue Shield. I feel like that's the best one.
I think that's the best one too. But I don't know if we don't know what Jocelyn does for a living. Because like nobody was like, man, what's Jocelyn's work gonna think? And how is she gonna get bills for Clary to have a home still? No, that never was covered.
That is true. Does she have to like file for disability leave after the fact? Because clearly she couldn't before. She didn't know what she was gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't like, despite the fact that we know everything about Jocelyn and Valentine's relationship, we don't really know anything about Jocelyn.
Cassandra, just like drop us a line, like, and then Jocelyn filed for disability leave, and then it's like, oh, okay, so she knew.
Or like, Jocelyn won the lottery when she first escaped Valentine, so she's never had to worry about money. That's fair.
And it's like, okay, so she's paying like $1,000 out of pocket for Obamacare. So now I know. I can come to those conclusions. I'm smart.
Exactly. For all the extra details we get, this was one detail I needed.
And if you want any details about our life and specifically maybe Laura's engagement, once again, please email Meggie and Laura present at gmail.com. Pretty big moment in our lives, and I don't have anything else to say, I suppose.
No, that's it. We're just plugging the fact that I'm engaged. Thank you. I'm engaged to a human man, not a Shadowhunter. We are not related in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
We cleared the bar.
Yeah, I wanna come clean with the truth of my engagement, and I'm happy to deliver that on the record.
So give us 5 stars, support us in love and our endeavors, and that's it. We'll see you next week.